Veterans Day. It's a day of remembrance for us that serve this great nation that we call home, America. It's to honor those who serve. The opposite of Memorial Day will remember those who sacrifice for this great nation and for our freedoms. Veterans Day has always been a proud day for me. Most of you know I'm a veteran. I'm a combat vet. I did a tour of duty in Iraq. And I've always been proud of serving and doing things. I don't miss it. But if I had to do it all over again, I would in a heartbeat. 2020 is a year that will forever be etched into my heart. I made a video. It's on my channel entitled Happy Veterans Day. You know, I was finally telling people, you know, people wonder, was I a veteran? So, you know, that's the first time I showed, you know, me in uniform and all that good stuff. And it was 3 years ago, coming up tomorrow to the day. Because I'm filming this the day before Veterans Day. Right, this is the day before. Today's the 10th of November. So happy early Veterans Day to everyone that served. From one veteran to the next and to the future veterans of America. Thank you for your service. Thank you for all that you do. You forever hold a place in my heart. Gratitude. Always my brothers and sisters. And we always will have your six. All right. I will always have your six. My aunt was a sergeant first class. She retired from the military. Proud veteran. Tracy Giddens. I'm showing pictures on the screen now. We were close. My last year in, we ended up actually working in different companies, but in different units, but right across the street from each other. I was still stationed out at Fort Hood in Killeen, Texas. And she had just got there. And I remember getting back from my tour of duty. And then, you know, I remember marching. We were going to the chow hall. And I remember somebody calling me by my nickname. And didn't nobody know that name in the military, but people that knew me personally. And I remember looking over, you know, shouldn't have been doing that while marching, but I remember kind of looking over. And I remember seeing my aunt there. And once, you know, we got dismissed at the chow hall, because we were getting back and getting ready to go eat, but we were coming from a formation. We had to get a debriefing, and we were marching as a unit over there as a company. And I remember once we got dismissed to go eat, and you know, we were getting off early that day. I remember running over there talking to her. First time I seen my aunt in years. And my last year in, we worked together, like I said, different units, but we were right across the street, different companies. And you know, we caught up on all that lost time. And then, you know, when she got out of the Army, she ended up moving back here to Georgia. And then, of course, I followed suit in 2018 after leaving Texas. Veterans Day rolled around in 2020, and my aunt was a very proud veteran. She was proud. That year, she ended up losing her sister. Her sister had open heart surgery in August of that year, and she ended up, I think she caught a staph infection, if I remember right. She had to go back to the hospital because she was having complications when she got released at home. And then when she got back to the hospital, she ended up getting a staph infection. And ultimately, that led to her death. And she was like my sister right hand, you know, at her house. My aunt had to have major back surgery in the military before she got out. And that kind of put her on a spiral with pain medications and depression. And it took a toll on her. It took a toll on her. She got very addicted to pain pills and stuff. I didn't see the signs and I didn't see the symptoms of that. And I think I should have caught it with the lapse of memory from not sleeping. But Veterans Day rolled around that year, and I remember making a video, putting it on YouTube, and then going on Facebook yearly, putting up pictures. And my aunt would do the same thing, go on Facebook and put up pictures. And my grandfather, he's a Vietnam vet, which is her father. He's a Vietnam vet. He'll call me in the mornings. And her not being a combat vet, but she been to South Korea and stuff like that. So she been to hazardous duty pay areas, but she never been to a combat zone. She would call, we would talk. And then, all my other veterans, but we all would talk. And on that day, I didn't get no phone call from her. Now, two things went through my head. Maybe she's missing a sister. Maybe she don't want to be bothered. She had been through a lot, So, I'm thinking maybe she just want to be left alone today. Maybe she'll call, nothing major. But my grandfather called me, say he had been trying to call all day and didn't get an answer. And then, my uncles and everybody kind of said, yeah, that's not like my aunt. It's not like her at all. So the very next day, I had told my grandpa that, hey, I'll go by. I just didn't feel like going by on Veterans Day. I just thought maybe I'd give her a day. If she don't contact, I'll go by and check on her the next day. Well, the very next day, I took my daughter to school, which was right down the road from where she lived at. My daughter's in pre-K at the time, and my son wasn't no older than a year. He was going on 2 years, so he was with me. And I remember going to the house. Her car was backed in center mass. And my aunt's house has this tree line behind it. Main road runs right behind the house. And as I got out the car, her mailbox was full, so I kind of got the mail out the mailbox. And as I'm walking up to the door, I can smell death. I can smell the gas, methane gas. So I'm thinking maybe it's some of the wood line behind the house and it's emanating up front and I can smell it. But the atmosphere was too quiet. And I'm hearing the buzzing of flies. So, and I couldn't see inside the house, and AC was on. So I knocked on the door. I even tried to call the phone. I didn't get no answer. I thought maybe she might have been up the street with one of her friends. She knew some veteran buddies that stayed up the street from her. And every now and then she would go up there and be up there. Well, I went up there and didn't get no answer from up there because her friend wasn't at home at the time. So I ended up driving back to the house, and I remember calling my grandmother and telling my grandmother, hey, listen, I don't want to freak anyone out, but I'm leaving, my aunt's house, and I think somebody might be dead in the house, but, I'm going to find out. Just give me time. I'm going to go home. I'm going to try to call a few more people that I knew that she knew and try to see if they knew where she was. So lo and behold, when I got home, one of the individuals, who's also deceased now, died of cancer a couple years ago, who was also a Vietnam vet, he contacted me. And he said, hey, man, have you talked to your aunt lately? I've been trying to call her. She didn't call me on Veterans Day. And, I told him no. I asked him, I said, hey, do you know if she's still up the street at her friend's house? I knew she had been staying up there for a while. And he told me no, that she had went back home that Monday. Because, they had a little bit of an issue up there, so she went on back home. She won't, didn't want no trouble, so she went on back home. And that's when I realized the smell that I was smelling was most likely her in the house. So I ended up telling him on the phone what I think was going on. And I remember calling my wife, who was at work at the time, because I had my son. And I told her I'm going to go over there and do a wellness check. At this time, I'm also texting her brother on Messenger. And letting them know what's going on because he is a federal agent. So I'm texting. And I get over there, I call Clayton County PD, let them know what's going on. And I stayed in the car until they got there. We got there. And, we made contact. We tried to go through the window because I told them, they smelled, they knew what it was too. And then I tried to tell them, hey, if any damn thing, my aunt is probably where the AC's at. She lays downstairs all the time by the AC. Well, we couldn't get inside the house because her friend that put the AC in the window, he nailed them to the wood so you couldn't take the AC out, which I'm kind of glad we did at that time. So my wife at that time got over there. She got home so I could leave to go over there and make the wellness check. She pulled up with my son and everything to make sure everything was okay. And finally, we were knocking on the door, we were making phone calls, nobody answering. And I told the cop, look, man, kick the door in. You know, I'll pay for the door. If it's not her that I'm smelling, maybe it's a dead animal in the house, you know, because she did have a little bit of a rat infestation, you know, the way her house was real old. So some of the wood by the garage was decaying, and so a rat or two might get in there. Outside little field rat might get in there. So I'm thinking, you know, I'm trying to think anything else but her. So we kicked the door in, and guys, I'm not trying to put an image in your head, but it was horrible. It hurt. It hurt my heart. But lo and behold, an officer went upstairs, and I said, no, she's not gonna be upstairs. Let's go in, make the right. I bet you she's on there on the couch. And I remember being behind the sergeant that was in charge, and when he made the turn, the flashlight, and my aunt was on the couch. She had been there about 3 days. It took a while for that to register for me. You know, that someone who I known all my life that never had anything mean to say to me and was more like a sister than an aunt to me, was lying on the couch, deceased. Of course, the GBI came and they got every prescription medication, anything, and they could find the house. They would ask me about her medical history and stuff like that. I remember them wheeling my aunt out the house and what the GBI agent told me, and you know, we had to get her cremated. I remember I drove her remains back to Texas for the funeral. It was my way of having that final moment with my aunt. After she got cremated, I went and got the ashes from her brother that ended up flying, that lived out here in Georgia, and I wanted to drive her home. And so that night before we got on the road the next day, I remember sitting downstairs. I gave her an earful. You know, I was mad. I was so mad, but I felt like as a nephew, I didn't do my part in trying to intervene with her more. She knew I was busy, and I knew she was kind of going through something, but she always kind of stayed to herself when she was dealing with stuff, and I wish I would have intervened more. As a veteran, I feel like I let my sister down because I knew she had a pain pill problem, and the cause of death was accidental overdose. And she had a few things in her system. I'm not going to say what it was, but it was mainly related to pain pills and stuff. And, you know, she was having memory issues, and a lot of it come from not sleeping, being up on those pain meds for days, and then finally collapsing and crashing, you know, from insomnia, not sleeping. And I think what ended up happening was she accidentally OD'd. They forgot she took something and then ended up taking it and OD'd. And it really opened my eyes up about mental health, physical health. And it was one of the reasons why I wanted to do something in my life and change my life. Before my aunt died, she seen me starting to lift weights. And at that time, my aspiration would be a power lifter. And I remember when I hurt myself, she told me, nephew, take time. You're going to get it. You know, stay the course. And I did. And when I hurt myself this time, I still remember those words, stay the course. You're going to get hurt when you do certain things. Find the message in the particular reason why you got hurt. So I said all that to say this here. For my veterans out there, and for anyone that watched this video, if you have a pain pill problem, if you're addicted to opioids, drugs, anything, because you're depressed about something in life, find an avenue of help. Talk to someone. Look for a positive outreach. It hurts my heart that I see so many men and women, not just in uniform, the youth as well that's dying because they're depressed and they're ODing, or they're trying new drugs, or they're doing a new trend, or they don't want to be left out of the crowd, so they're trying to follow the crowd. You know, it hurts my heart. It hurts a lot. My aunt, to me, was this energetic individual that I knew. Her last year around, I didn't know that person. She was dealing with a lot, and I wish I would have intervened more. And it's too late to go back and change that now, because she's been 3 years, coming up on the 12th, because that's when I found her, on the 12th. And I'm sorry, I'm trying to keep my emotions in check. So, and this is hard for me to talk about, but I really want to get the message out there. Mental health is one of those things I suffer with. I have post-traumatic stress, but I got the help that I needed, and that's therapy. Talking to a psychiatrist once every couple of months. Now, it used to be every month, but now it's once every couple of months. Finding positive outlets in my life. Physical health, training is one of them. Having kids, a wife, a positive circle, social circle is the other one. Okay. You have to do those things in order to keep your mental health in check. More importantly, give yourself some love and give yourself some time. You can't always do things for everyone else. Give yourself some time. Treat yourself. Love yourself. Respect yourself. Or you'll end up like a narcissistic. I think about my aunt every day. There's not a day that don't go by that I don't think about her. She was a big diehard Cowboy fan. And you know how that goes when you're a Falcon fan. You know, don't go too well. But at the end of the day, despite all of that, she was one of a kind. She was one of a kind. And she loved the military. She retired out after 22 years, 21, 22 years. She was E7 for 22 years. And I'm going to always keep the memories of her with me. I just wish she would have been around a lot longer to see my growth. But I know she's with me in spirit wherever I go. So I just wanted to share this story with you guys. It's not to get sympathy. It's because it has a message in it. And the message is, take care of yourself. Focus on your mental health. If you see someone you know struggling with depression, struggling with anxiety, all that stuff, reach out, be a helping hand. Don't have them turn to drugs. Don't have them turn to medications. A lot of this can be fixed with your self-care, self-awareness. Okay? They have me on so many prescription medications. If I was to take all of them out, I wouldn't be able to talk on camera. A lot of work that I'm doing to keep myself sane is putting in hard work that I've been doing for over the last 10 years. And that's dealing with this. I've been in therapy over 10 years. I refuse to have a relapse and start back drinking and smoking cigarettes and fighting and blaming everyone else for my anger. For 10 years, I haven't been doing that, and I refuse to go back. Take control of your mental health. Don't be depressed. You're going to have your days. I have mine every day. But doing the right things will ensure that you keep this intact. The moment you start to see yourself getting isolated, you don't want to deal with people, you don't want to get help, you turn to medication all the time, you're setting yourself up and you're fast tracking yourself to a possible early grave. And I don't want you to be another statistic. I want you to be around. You can make an impact on somebody's life. My aunt impacted me in so many positive ways, not just me, her soldiers, and a lot of people. That when she left, it was a hole that it took a long time to refill. And all because she didn't get the help she needed. She thought the pain medication, and she thought, you know, being doped up all the time on that stuff was the right thing to do. And she had got so entrenched into it, she couldn't get out of it. And that last year of her life, it took her out. I don't use this word that often, but love is something that we're desperately missing in this day and age. So, to all my veterans out there, I love you all. To anyone at the sound of my voice, know your self-worth. Find love for yourself. I can't say I truly love you, but I love you. You are a human being. Okay? To my aunt, of course, I loved her without no question in my heart. Do what you need to do to survive, but do it the right way. Happy Veterans Day to all of you out there that are serving, those that have served their countries, and the future men and women that's in the process of signing up to serve. Happy Veterans Day. I love you. You always have a place in my heart. I got your 6. All those combat vets and past vets, we have your 6. And you guys take care. Enjoy the rest of your Veterans Day.